I just got fucked over by a female. And I'd like to tell you a little bit about it because there's no one else here to talk to except for the camera. So, a girl came over tonight. Her name was Jenna. And I sort of invited her over, hoping that I might get some tonight. And so she came over and she played poker with us. And then she was going to go downtown. And so I asked her if she wanted to ride. And she took me up on my ride. And I took her down there. And she made heavy advances to me on the way down there. And I told her that if she needed me to pick her up, I'd be more than happy to. And yeah, but that she said she could get a ride back here. And so I said I'd wait up for her either way. And so I did, and she called me and told me she would appreciate it if I could come give her a ride. So I drove downtown to fucking Bourbon Street at fucking 2 in the morning to pick up this fucking girl. And I don't know if you've ever driven down Bourbon Street at this time of night, but it's fucking miserable, okay? It's fucking miserable. So I got outside the club that she was waiting outside of, and I called her and I said, I'm outside the club, and she said, okay, I'll look for you. And I waited outside the club, and there were cars behind me trying to get past me. And so eventually I had to go, and I had to park in an illegal area to wait for her, and I kept calling her, but then she stopped picking up. So I didn't know what the situation was. And so I was parked in an illegal spot, and I got out of my car to go find her, and a cop came up to me and said, hey, buddy, that's an illegal spot, and I'm going to give you a ticket if you park there. And I said, well, I'm waiting for somebody, and he said, I don't care. So I got in my car and drove around the fucking block. And she called me and said, where are you? And I said, I'm driving around the fucking block. But I was a little nicer to her, and I said, I'm almost there. So I drove around the block, and 20 fucking minutes later, I finally picked her up. And she got in my car with a piece of pizza, and she offered me a little bit of the piece of fucking pizza. And it was good. And we drove home, and she made heavy advances to me on the way home. And we got home, and she said, can I throw something away in your garbage can? And I said, well, of course. So she came in the house, and everybody else left to go get burgers, and they're still getting burgers, because they naturally assumed that I was going to get some tonight. So we came in the empty house, and I said, it's really late. Why don't you just stay here tonight? So you don't have to drive home, and you drank a little bit, and so I would just feel better if you stayed home. I really didn't feel better if she would stay home. I was just trying to get laid. And she said, no. But she did come into my house. And she came and she sat down at the stool, right over here, actually. I want to show you this. I want to reenact exactly what happened. So she was sitting on this stool, and I was standing right there. And we were talking about some fucking monotonous fucking conversation. And slowly, I went over here to where she was standing, and I stood right behind her, and I grabbed both of her shoulders like this. I started massaging them. I started kissing her neck like this. And I said, why don't you just stay here tonight? She said, no, I better go. And I kissed her neck some more, and I think she was liking it. And I kept kissing her neck. And then she stood up and said, I've got to go! And she left! And she walked to the door. And I said, that's not necessary. And she said, well, I've got to go. And she walked to the door. And she went out to her car. And she said, good night. And thank you for the ride. And I didn't even get a fucking kiss. Yeah. I've got to go. I'll talk to you later, though. Bye.